Hi, my name is Michelle Duford. I'm a small business accountant in Kelowna BC. This video is one video in our series of videos for small businesses in Canada. We're going to talk today about vehicle expenses in Canada, what we can claim, what's allowable, and some of the gotchas that you should watch for. So a video on tax would not be complete without a disclaimer. This video is not a substitute for professional advice. I strongly recommend that you deal with a CPA and find out what works for your specific situation. This video is only intended to talk about high-level situations and what may or may not be deductible. So lots of questions come up when you're wanting to use a vehicle in your business. A big one that comes up is, should I own it in the business? Should I lease it? Should I buy it? Do I really need to track mileage? Those are some of the questions that we're going to cover today. So does it make sense to own the vehicle in your company? Depends a lot on the nature of your business. For example, somebody that's a delivery company or a moving company would make a lot of sense for the company to actually own the vehicle because the vehicle is an integral part of the services that you provide. Whereas somebody that is a consultant, maybe works from home and only on occasion goes out to visit a client, it likely doesn't make sense to own the vehicle in the company. Likely makes more sense for you to own your vehicle personally and then do a charge back to the company. We'll talk about this in more detail in a later slide. This has to be one of the most frequent questions that I get from small businesses. Should I lease my vehicle or should I buy it? Really, it comes down to how long you want to hold your vehicle. Leasing a vehicle is much less expensive in the short term, whereas buying a vehicle with a loan is much less expensive in the long term. If the nature of your business dictates that you will have a lot of vehicle turnover, it might make more sense for you to lease your vehicle. Again, you need to look at things like the terms. Oftentimes leases have very limited mileage allowances, and the interest rate. Depending on whether you're going to lease or buy, you might see a significant difference in the interest rate, which all will affect which one makes more sense for you from a tax perspective. So a question that comes up a lot is, do I really need to have a log? It's kind of a pain. I forget to use it. Does CRA actually really care? Yes. In many cases, CRA will care and will actually ask for the mileage log if you have vehicle expenses in your corporation. Personal use of a business vehicle will be subject to personal taxes, which is called a taxable benefit. It's actually so common that CRA has a benefits calculator on their website to help you calculate what the actual cost will be. One of the things that surprises people quite a bit is a standby charge. And a standby charge is really just having access to a company vehicle, even if you don't actually use it. To sort of help out in this area, recently introduced something called a simplified log, which basically allows you to track your mileage for a shorter period of time and then apply it to the whole tax year. For somebody that if you really don't like to track the log, or maybe you're more high tech, there's some really great apps that are available on the smartphone. MileIQ and TripLog come to mind. I would recommend that you check them out if you don't like the paper logs. They're very convenient, easy to use, and in some cases they're actually free. Taxpayers have historically had a very poor compliance for vehicle logs, so that as a result, this has become a favorite audit area for CRA. So yes, in short, you do need to track usage, but there's some easier ways to make the job less tedious. So what kinds of things can you actually deduct in your business for vehicle? Well, you can deduct things like you would expect. Fuel, maintenance, insurance, any loan interest, and any maintenance that you might have on the vehicle. Things you cannot deduct would be something like speeding tickets. Those would not be considered a deductible expense by CRA for your vehicle. Also, something to be aware of is if that you are using your vehicle for 90% or less in the business, that you may have to either prorate your expenses or preferably add the personal usage as a taxable benefit to either the shareholder or employee who has personal use of the vehicle. So one of the things that we like to recommend for those clients that own their vehicle personally, have a corporation, and just have incidental use of the vehicle, and that is to use the per kilometer allowance rate provided by CRA. As you can see on the slide, we do have a couple of rates for 2019 and 2020. If you're filing a tax return for rates outside of those 2 years, I recommend that you check it out on the CRA website, which will have all of the rates for the various years that were in effect. You still require a log. You still have to track how much you've actually driven, but what you don't have to do is keep track of all of the individual expenses like your fuel, your maintenance, those sorts of things. This per kilometer rate is intended to be used instead of those prorated expenses, but it might make sense the first time to check to see if your actual expenses are higher or lower than what the mileage rate will allow. This is another area where you should probably talk to your CPA, who can help you do a detailed analysis to see which method makes sense for your specific situation. So do you still have questions? This was a very high-level video, and it's not intended to cover every specific situation, and it may indeed not cover your own situation. I would recommend that you talk to a CPA who'll be able to guide you and tell you exactly the best way for you to deduct vehicle expenses in your company, if indeed that is appropriate. Hi, thank you for watching our video. This is just one in a series of videos of interest to small businesses in Canada. We invite you to check out our YouTube channel, DufordCPA, for more videos that may be of interest to you. If you want to connect with us directly, please visit our website at DufordCPA.ca or send an email at info@DufordCPA. Thank you.